right back, Charlie's definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. Can't lie, that's a wavy intro. But anyways, the show must go on. People deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Happy Friday to you lot. If you're on YouTube, make sure you're smashing the like button. And obviously, make sure you're following on both platforms because there's content to come out in the next few hours on both my channels, DG Sports Views, and obviously where we're here now. Big up the Twitch gang. 4:45, we're playing Football Manager again, in which, yeah, money doesn't solve everything. Don't ask me how. I use the editor. I bought for Arsenal, I bought Vlahovic, Isaac, Eze, Nico Williams, and we're struggling. But in terms of real life, people, we know that, you know, that you're still talking about Arsenal versus City. Only Arsenal Football Club could be mocked at drawing against Manchester City with 10 men. I'm exhausted. You know, you would have seen my content yesterday. We've been talking and waffling about it all week. We now switch our attentions to Leicester. Yes, you know, it was a point gained or 2 points dropped. There's many, I think, more positives to take from the City game than negatives. We should be even more bullish about potential trophy hunts and things. But there's a lot of football to be said. Now, I don't know if our top 6 record is going to remain how it did last season, in which was unbeaten. We are unbeaten in our first 2. You know, Spurs are even throwing shade on Twitter. You know, we 10 men down and we played the same way. I very much want to see how Spurs would get on playing Manchester City. In fact, forget Manchester City, Brighton. Big up you for beating Kat Yarabag. I'm probably more of a household name than them footballers, and I'll trade places and want to play in Europe. Solanke couldn't do a fucking thing against Gabriel or Saliba. So I'll take a lot of nonsense. I'll take a lot of verbal. But Tottenham hot shite. Spurs, stay out of it. And you wouldn't have thought, you wouldn't have thought that we would have thingied, boy, beat you lot a few weeks ago. At least Brighton and City can say they've taken points of us. Tottenham hot shite have done nothing but great high line. And the high line's even overrated. It's not even the best in the league. They talk about playing attractive football. Anyone that says that Spurs play attractive football is absolutely lying. On that as well, about Arsenal are boring and lack of entertainment, it's just dawned on me. People say City don't play attractive football, so we can't really win. But nonetheless, people, obviously we need to be beating Leicester. Credit to Leicester. They got promoted. They've won the league actually more recently than us, and definitely Tottenham hotshot. We know what Jamie Vardy's on, and he might be not quite a spring chicken, but there's still life in the old legs. And I'm not going to lie, when it comes to European games, people, when it comes to specifically performing in Europe or the Premier League, in Europe, I would more want to play at the Emirates than I want to play away from home. In the Premier League, it's not that I think at home we're not on anything and whatnot, people, but I think the games at the Emirates, whether we win, lose or draw, they're filled with a lot of drama. Away from home, we're a lot more, you know, street smart, if that makes sense. So yeah, we need to be beating Leicester tomorrow, man. You know, it's been a big test. You know, we know from the point of playing Spurs up until 21 days is up, we've had seven games in the space of 21 days. The squad is being stretched. We did not lose to City, Spurs or Atalanta. Obviously, you know, we got to see the kids play against Bolton, and that continues. You lot let me know, would you start Ethan Nwaneri? Now I am tempted. Lewis Skelly as well, if I'm honest with you. Now Lewis Skelly could get a start, as could Ethan. Probably more likely to start Ethan just because he's playing the Odegaard role. I don't think Lewis Skelly is going to play ahead of the fullbacks. But a part of me wants to see that. I definitely want him to start. But a part of me wants the exact same team, if possible, that went out there against City, if I'm honest with you. For me, provided Raya is fit, which we'll get into the transfer news in a bit. You know, transfer news we will, but injury news. I would start Raya. If not, Neto goes in goal. Saliba, Gabriel. I think I want to see Timber and Calafiori again. But then again, you know, Timber, if you need a bit of a rest going into the PSG game, because you're someone that is going to play for me, I don't know. And I want to see Benjamin White. It's one where you wish there was 12 players on the pitch. I don't really care whether it's Timber and Benjamin White, Calafiori and White, or any sort of variation. But for me, I'll go Calafiori again. I think he could do with another, you know, test to see what the Premier League's about. If Benjamin White's got a knock, then yeah, rest him for PSG. So I'd probably go at this moment in time, and I will change my mind. Well, I said if Raya's fit, Raya and go. If not, Neto, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori on the left, Timber on the right. Because this should be a game where we get to see Timber and Saka in an attacking sense. So yeah, man. Obviously, Saka starting for me. Midfield is techie, man. You know what? F it. Trossard, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, up front, Kai Havertz. On the left, do you go with Martinelli? Do you go with Gabriel Jesus, who actually scored a great goal a few years ago against Leicester? Do you give Raheem Sterling another start? I think considering the minutes Sterling got in his legs, I don't think Sterling starting is a thing for this. So yeah, man, it is what it is. No, you can't disrespect the likes. Why? Sorry, in a circle. None of the comments are coming up. What's going on here? It's annoying. It's annoying as the comments froze. Big up you lot, people. I can read them out, but oh, here we go. No, you can't disrespect the likes of Calafiori, Trossard, Havertz by dropping them for under 18s, which is true, and they should be disappointed. But it's a squad game, and at the end of the day, if you're good enough and old enough, your age is irrelevant. Everybody needs to be utilized. I think Ethan's more likely to start than Lewis Skelly, but I'd be surprised if they don't get more minutes. Now, I don't know when their next start comes, if I, because I'm not saying it's the end of the world. As I said, for me, I'm more likely to gear towards the same lineup that went there, if we can, that started against City, starts against Leicester. But yeah, man, and you look at what we got: Leicester, we got PSG, and every game matters. Like, we need to be beating Leicester. I'm not gonna lie, because whatever we look at, the cold-hearted facts are we've dropped 4 points this season: 2 against Brighton and 2 against City. I'm not saying I'm not. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. I'm taking it out of context, but the points tally that's available for 38 games and what we've amassed in the games we've played so far in the pursuit of the Premier League, we need to chase it back. In an ideal world, in a very ideal world, which I don't think is going to happen, I think City need to lose games. It'd be lovely if Newcastle could do us a favour in the 12:30 kickoff tomorrow. Newcastle will be playing City. After that, or in general, we know exactly what we've got to do. I had to, man. I actually want to grow my hair. I thought this close. I wasn't going to cut my hair until next year. I was this close. And then I woke up today. I was like, nah, this is dead. Let me cut my hair. But this is the last haircut. I'm actually growing my hair. I want my single plaits back, man. I want my long hair back, man. But yeah, big up you lot in the comments and whatnot. I thought I saw FM. Yeah, man. We were playing FM yesterday. Oi, DJ, I got you for FM corners. G. Riley, corners, defensive coach. You're selected. When we play at 4:45, we're going to take time to pattern that up, because obviously, you know me, I'm an attacking gaffer. We're playing wavy football, but defensively, and Football Manager actually, in the next installment of that game, David Raya needs the stats update, as does Saliba and Gabriel. I'm not gonna lie, David Raya is fucking shit in the last Football Manager, which is not fair on him because he's great in real life. But yeah, we're going off topic. Big up the Twitch gang. We need the 3 points tomorrow. It's a must, 100%. Man U ex-players have to share a collective IQ of like 3. Bro, they're trolling, man. You're hearing the nonsense Paul Scholes is saying. Roy Keane saying, oh, it's never been done with 10 men before. Nobody is making out that Arsenal getting a point when we went down to 10 men is innovative, but we can't win. I really don't want to keep going over this, but if we attacked and went gunshot for gunshot, which we've done against City before with 10 men, what happens? We can't win. Either we win, we play pretty football, and we don't win the game. They say we're naive. We play ugly. There's issues. I don't give a flying monkeys. As long as we can win some trophies, and don't get twisted, it internally within the Arsenal fan base, even when everybody was fit, it's a bit weird. It's like last year that I don't really care how many goals we scored or what we've done. We have not been at our free-flowing, silky kind of best. I'm not criticizing the club. I just think there's many gears to go up. And they're doing it for engagement. Like, you would not think Paul Scholes probably makes the most sense of all of them, but it's just grumpy. You would not think Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, all of these guys have won and done what they've done in the game with this collective IQ. They're doing it for engagement. And until Arsenal fans learn, in my opinion, to air all of that, we're not going to get anywhere, man. We're not going to get anywhere. I would start Miles Lewis-Skelly, but I think he's injured. I think Arteta said he's cool. I hear you with Lewis-Skelly. I'm more likely to start Ethan, depending on what we're doing in midfield. But yeah, I think we have to go for the more experienced players because, Leicester's not on a joke thing. Staying in the league, stability in the league is the first thing that they're trying to go for. It's still a Premier League football match, and we still need to win the game. In an ideal world, for me, strongest team goes out there. You win the game, you score a couple of goals. If that's the case where you see young players put the game beyond doubt, you lot get your minutes there, man. Hondo, time to ball out now. Martinelli has been scapegoated. Yes, I agree. He's been playing shit recently, but before he had the cover for Zinchenko, now we have Timber. I'm at the point with Martinelli where, yeah, that's all valid, but bro, it's down to you now, man, because you're still getting in. I do think his performances have picked up. You're still doing the right things. You're just not looking cool, calm, collected in the final third in terms of specifically when to get your head up and when to finish. We saw it against Wolves. We saw it against Atalanta. He had a great performance in the North London derby, but we saw it there. Fair enough. He got an assist against City. It's one of them where he probably didn't even think Calafiori is going to hit it, but that's where Martinelli's at. This needs to be picked up. Need to see some progress with the IQ now, because that's the only thing stopping him. And it's time to do that. For me, it's just the level of finishing. And I don't know if he needs to shout a former Brazilian striker legend, if we can ask Thierry Henry, Bergkamp, Ian Wright. To be fair, even someone like Jeremy Adiadier would help him out. I think he's at that stage now where it's just about perfecting your finishing, because sometimes he's actually going for it in the right way. Just the application and the finesse that's required isn't there for me. Calafiori was class, man. I don't know if Calafiori will play, though, but will start, though, because he probably does need minutes in the legs, but he got substantial minutes midweek. Jesus is behind Saka, Martinelli, Sterling, Trossard. He's just a sub now. Boy, Isaac still injured, apparently, which is a blow for Newcastle. Big up, DG. Hope you're doing fine. I told man the Gaffer will likely defend his way to the title, and I'm here for it. But now we're also capable of playing free-flowing football, so I'm happy. I'm happy either. Listen, I think the attacking football needs to go up. And again, boring football. I wouldn't even say we're definitely not entertaining to watch per se, but people move like we're mad boring. If it correlates to trophies, I don't care. I don't think anyone cares. Nobody cares how you do it. You know, Wenger, Alex Ferguson, Conte, Jose, Ranieri, Pep Guardiola, they've all won the Premier League in their own sort of fashion. And I'm sure there's some similarities, but they got over the finish line. You know, last year we were a better defensive side. We probably doubled down a bit more on defending or defensive aspects, I feel, at this point this season, but we still didn't win. The year before that, the improvements were beginning defensively, but we were probably more of an attack-centric team. Either way, we didn't do what we need to do. Defense wins titles, so that's a good look. The depth we've got is great. I just wish we could share these same sentiments in the final third and middle third and so on and so forth, man. Yeah, same as well. I'm growing my beard, tired of waves, brushing 24/7, jarring me. Would lovely to see Ethan get a hat-trick. Nelly had one improved display after stinking up the joint for 17 games straight. Now needs to maintain the level and not drop back. And that's it. Like, you just need to keep going. I think that's harsh because I think against City and Spurs he was good. But, yeah, the numbers are in negative. So he just needs to get back. But unfortunately for him, all it takes is a couple of good performances and everybody's back singing your praises, man. Skelly loves that pass between the centre-back and right-back. I love Lewis Skelly, man. You know, he can play as an 8. I think he's more likely to be a 6, if I'm honest with you. But he does obviously contribute in all phases. He's locking down that inverted left-back role. For me, it's the mentality. He's, you know, you obviously know he's a young, fresh-faced 18-year-old. But he looks like that weren't his first start for Arsenal Football Club in an official game. You know, giving instructions to his fellow youngsters, giving instructions to his senior players. You know, he's already hated by Haaland before he even kicked a Premier League ball. You know, obviously, Ethan is stardust, but I think Lewis Skelly is people really downplaying what we could potentially have. We need to calm down. We need to let these men develop because, you know, obviously, I'm not blaming Lewis Skelly, but his stray pass that led to us conceding. Obviously, if one pass in the opposition's box leads to you conceding in yours, everybody's at 6s and 7s. Jorginho's the last man, which tells you, you know, the game was an exhibition game, right? But that's something I've seen with Lewis Skelly in the academy. Sometimes he's very mature on the ball, but sometimes those passes can go and kill you. Even with Ethan, Ethan's not the finished article. So let's just take time with these young players, let them slow cook, let them develop, and take it from there for me, man. But for Lewis Skelly, you know, you could argue playing fullback, it is basically playing in midfield under Mikel Arteta. And for him, obviously, it's not an Ainsley Maitland-Niles thing, but it kind of is. You know, we know Ainsley Maitland-Niles even played out wide, but he played fullback, he played centre mid. And if you're a young player where, one, Arteta likes versatility, two, I know Arteta gave a bunch of players young players debuts, but it's not an Arsene Wenger thing, so chances are more limited. 3, we're actually a good side now with some good players. 4, you look in midfield, whether you rate them or not, Jorginho, experienced footballer, let alone international. Partey signed for 45 million. Moreno, Spanish international, X amount of million. And all the other midfielders. Lewis Skelly isn't competing with just normal people. From a footballing point of view, he's competing with experienced multi-million-pound pros. So get whatever opportunities you can get. And a lot of people are versatile, even in the fullback ranks. If you can lock that down, and the manager's getting trust because of your ability to do it, that's more opportunities for you. So I do think we need to calm down. You know, I do think they need to be exposed to more minutes. But I do think in general, and I say this with every young player, and it goes for Kobe Mano, it goes for any young player, really, you know. People see them, they've got all the ability in the world. They say they can be this, that, the third. Who gets there overnight? You don't just wake up as a 17, 18-year-old. Yeah, they've got quality potential, and then tomorrow you're that. You have to go through the trials and tribulations. You will have bad games. You will have make mistakes. You know, as much as I love Ethan and Miles, if they were to play the next 5 to 10 games for Arsenal, you don't know what you're getting. Some games will probably be 10 out of 10. Others, they'll be 0. But it's about that medium ground. And obviously you want more than that. If we throw you in for 10 games, can you provide 6s? Because that's what managers will do. You might have a young player, as I said, be volatile up and down, or you might have a steady Eddie that might not necessarily win or lose you a game, but you know for 10 games, it's an El Nene thing. It's a 5 or a 6. People are going to bet on that. And this is without talking about what we do in the markets to come. Now, where I look at Lewis Skelly and Ethan, they should be excited. You know, they're very versatile. We've probably more seen Lewis Skelly exposed to more different roles than Ethan. But you would imagine Zinchenko's potentially going to be moved on in the next 2 years. Kivior might not be here. Tomiyasu's a lovely player. But if the injuries persist, obviously Lewis Skelly and Ethan can both play in midfield. Jorginho and Partey might not be on the playing roster for that long. Smith Rowe's gone. Obviously, Odegaard's got an injury, so there's an opportunity there as well. Fabio Vieira technically hasn't gone because he's still contracted to the club, but's left. So we just got to take time. But it'd be lovely to see these guys. And for me, with Mikel Arteta, you've shown me you can develop talents. You've done it at City. You've done it at Arsenal. Saka is getting better and better. What you've done with Saliba's great. Martinelli's got his own trials and tribulations, but he has improved, and Odegaard's improved, and all of these things. So he's shown me, for me as a manager, you can improve somebody, Smith Rowe as well. You can improve someone that's already in Eddie as well. He can kind of improve someone that's already been exposed in the first team. But that's where I'm looking at you with Ethan now, because Ethan's your project now. Lewis Skelly's your project. You're having to grab them and go, yeah, you're involved. You're going now. So we'll see, man. And also, we got to remember, consistency is one thing. The pace of the game is one thing. These are young boys, 17, 18. They're not in their grown man's body at this moment in time, in my opinion. But yeah, quality, man. And it's lovely to see, not just for Arsenal Football Club or our fans. They're family members, man. As you know, it's not easy, even if they, God forbid, but if Lewis Skelly and Ethan go on to never make an appearance for Arsenal ever again, like, they've got a lot farther than a lot of people like us that didn't get anywhere, and people that have been signed by first teams. They got to play for Arsenal Football Club in an official capacity. I wouldn't say they're Hale-end graduates, but they kind of have. So it's good. It's a good look, man. I have a feeling Ben White is getting dropped in a long term. Timber will take the right back position if fit. May the best man win. If you've got a fit Tomiyasu, a fit Timber, Calafiori, I'm definitely missing someone else out, but we got bare defensive options. May the best team win. I'm reaching a bit with this, but if we had another centre back that is on the level of Saliba and Gabriel, may the best man win. May the best man win. Gabriel is the only Brazilian who can finish. Boy, a lot of it's from set pieces, but I don't think you're wrong at all, man. It seems like Big Gabby's the only one who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. Odegaard and Moreno back soon too. Attacking performances will pick up. Gabriel from corners this year gets 10 or more. I always said, okay, how we score, who scores, just that we do such, people. And if that's, listen, I'm not complaining about Gabriel or Calafiori bagging against City. I'm not complaining against them lot down the lane. Of course, I want to see my attackers play good football and score goals. And Gabriel Jesus is the one I want to see score the most goals. I said I hope he gets 15, but boy, all the goals count the same. 3 points is 3 points. And for me with Arsenal, we've got the defensive thing on lock. Let's not get complacent. Let's take it to other levels. Set pieces. You know, in the last 2 years, people know what we're going to do, but we're reinventing ourselves, doing different things. We're inevitable. Set pieces are the new penalties for us. Keep that. Can we start playing some silky football? Can we start doing things? Because if I'm honest, this is just for me. I think we've developed a lot mentally, people. I think we've come a long way mentally. A really, 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 really big way. But I still think there's little times where we get a bit rattled. And what I mean by that is the penalty against Atalanta. For me, it felt like the first 5 to 7 to 10 minutes after that penalty incident, our heads weren't in the right place. Brighton, we defended with a lot of commitment, right? But I think when Declan Rice first got sent off, that 10-minute passage was a bit all over the place. Obviously it's a bit different, but I think I think it took us a while to grow into the game, and believe that we can offer something in an attacking sense against City. And when we did that, obviously we got 2 goals. We started to move the ball around. You saw our whole team start to get in their box. Just before half time, we're thinking, rah, this is great. We all saw what happened with Trossard after that. And beyond that, it just came down to being committed defensively and resolute. We did that. Unlucky to concede at the end, man. Apparently, Moreno back next week. Not going to lie, he's coming back at the right time. When he comes back, would you drop him for Partey? Probably, you know, because I do want to see. Well, Martin Odegaard's not a thing, but in general, I do want to see Martin Odegaard, Moreno, and Declan Rice, because that's the most kind of long-term midfield three you would see from us. You could argue that we might, you know, Trossard might come out, or, you know, Trossard, whoever is going to play in that 10 for Leicester, he might just go to a flat midfield three. But then I look at it, obviously, I'm never going to drop Declan Rice unless his form is on the cliff. I don't feel comfortable without Declan Rice. I know we beat Spurs. We've done a thing without Rice, but he's like a seatbelt. And we're like the starting 11's a car. He's the seatbelt. I just feel a lot safer with him. I know a lot of people have things to say about him in the 8 role. I share a lot of that sentiment, but Declan Rice for me is one of the first names on the team sheet personally. So then you could only really drop Partey in. But I think Partey's actually been all right this season, you know. I think he's actually been doing his thing, especially in the last 2 games. I do want to see what we do with Declan Rice and Moreno. And what I mean by that is, are they both going to be 8s? Are they both going to be 6s? Are they both going to kind of be multifunctional 8s and 6s according to the game state? So that being, you know, whatever opposition we're playing or what Mikel Arteta demands of the day. What I would like to see personally is Declan Rice, you move over to to the right, you do your 6 stuff. What got you signed for 100 million in the first place? Obviously, you're not just going to stand there and just win the ball. You're going to have to do things. He's not Rodri, but Rodri's the 6 for City. He wins the ball back and all of that stuff, but he contributes going forward, so you could still do that. But I do want to see Moreno in that 8. I do wonder, though, is there really, because they can do it, they've got ability, but is that a silky kind of midfield enough for Arsenal? I know you can't go out there and get a Santi Cazorla or you can't get a Cesc Fabregas, but I think we're missing one of those tempo dictator midfield guys, man. I think you'd even see a better Martin Odegaard in that regards, man. Skelly in the 6 when he's fully grown up, got all the skills, needs the physicals. Trossard should be benched and Gabby start Sterling. Pardon me, start Sterling. All depends the fitness in Sterling's legs, if I'm honest. Smash the like button, people. This is horrible, man. You're not doing the guy dirty. This is absolutely diabolical. Moreno back after international break, which comes after the Southampton game. You know Ramsdale's going to have the game of his life after, you know, shipping them in the next few weeks. Nichols looks like he could be a good wing back, kind of like a Frimpong profile, but I don't know how good his dribbling is. I must admit, I don't think Josh Nichols will make the grade at Arsenal, but he's a very talented player, clearly got a good attitude, and you can't write him off, you know, at 18 years of age. I just don't think he'll make the grade here. But if you can, great. If you can be sold on for profit, great. If you can go out into the real world and have a career, even better. I hear it, though. Arteta knows he needs to grab results this season. Villa, Spurs, City away, 2 wins and a draw. Take that all day. JD, bro, we'll take that. We'll maneuver. It could always be better, but it could always be a lot worse. And to be honest with you, of the 3, the only game I would say out of the 3, let's be honest, Villa away, we were crap. We were actually crap. Like, we were crap. The only time we looked decent when we scored the goals and we was managing the game. Spurs, it was a street smart thing. We did what teams have done during this Emirates era for years. You don't want the ball. You don't think you're on this emotional thing. It's the game of the season. You're going to ruin Arsenal. Cool. You don't do your thing. We'll sit back. We'll be street smart. We'll be difficult to break down. You know, huff and puff. We will get an opportunity. We had a couple which we could have scored. You know, Kai had a header. Weren't clear cut. Martinelli had the best chance of the game. Gabriel set piece. Let's keep it moving. Have that. Because let's be honest, let's not beat around the bush. Spurs, Villa, City, those are some difficult games. You got Una Emre and what Aston Villa are doing, which is crazy. We all know what happened there last year. Spurs, DVDs come out if they beat us. That's an easy 3 points. We'll come, you lot will welcome them back to the Emirates and take the next 3 points. City, I want to beat them. Even if we don't win the league, I want to beat them because just for Haaland. I don't advocate injuries or anything, but I want to beat City when we play them at the Emirates, whenever that is. And you see you, Haaland, Kai Havertz, what you did to Gundogan or Rodri, first 30 seconds of that game. Gabriel, take the ball. John Terry, yes, just clamp him, please. If you're going to talk, it comes at a price. Ethan Nwaneri, our very own Almao. I'll leave that to you lot. Ethan reminds me of Foden so much. They both have an amazing first touch dribble, kind of the same. You saw the Ethan video I put out on my channel. They're very different players. They're their own entity, but I do kind of see Phil Foden's development at City mimicked by Pep Guardiola at City, mimicked by what Arteta is going to do. So, yeah. Ethan and Miles go out on loan at some point this year? I wouldn't say so. You never know, but I wouldn't say so. Have to big up Saka for the corner deliveries, improved massively. Yeah, remember when Saka couldn't take a corner? It still could be a lot better. Arteta will be back to his prudent self the next game. He's getting more and more risk averse. Big up DG. FM was lit yesterday, innit, Manny? We go again, man. We go again. What would you say is Arteta's biggest improvement between tactical flexibility and game management? Tactical flexibility. Game management, it comes down to the time wasting and taking the sting out of games, man. Because, you know, even looking at last year, some of the game, like you look at when we beat City, obviously it was great tactically. When we beat United, like we're taking the emotion a bit out. We're channeling the emotion, but we're taking the emotion out. Tactical flexibility of where you're seeing it really and truly. It's just more little things, really. It's like at times Odegaard's dropping deep, or it's more for me with Arteta. It's more the players' relationships on the pitch. Like we haven't been exposed to it, but we saw in pre-season even Gabriel Jesus and Havertz, and I think all the things that have been a blueprint already. He's just kind of perfecting them, if that makes sense. The Brighton goal and Haaland goal both came from a single pass right through the middle of the park. A bit concerning, jarring, man. Deckers will probably go back to the 6. I hear it, and I want him to, but is that what Mikel Arteta wants? And even if you're a 6, I'm not saying you're not saying that, but even if you're a 6 in this Arsenal team, you're still going to find yourself in roles that the 8 will. It's not like respectfully like a championship side. You're playing as a 6. You're basically the first defender. You got the back 4 in front of you. You're just protecting. You still need to be able to contribute, man. Moreno won't be starting soon after the injury. Probably get subbed on a few times before starting. All depends on fitness. Yeah, and you are right. It probably does depend on fitness, but surely fitness ain't even that deep because he's been taking part in training. If the bone's healed, aren't you ready to go again? Let's just hope there's no setbacks, man. And, you know, stay away from Big Gabriel and trading, but if I'm honest with you, it's crazy. You can't drop Rice. Partey has been good, but Rice in the 6 is well class. The Nico signing is a dream, to be honest. I'm taking Bacola, you know I can't say KK's name, or Aderinga from Brighton next year, and Gyökeres. Yeah, I constantly hear Arsenal fans dreaming of Nico, Wirtz, Isaac, but the Arsenal reality is Jorginho, Sterling, Trossard type signings. Isaac would be a dream. We're being linked with Florian Wirtz. Forgive me for my pessimism, but when you're hearing Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, City all circling, you're hearing 100-odd million. I mean, we have spent 100-odd million on a player before, so you never know in this life, but it's dream chasing, man. Our record against the Big 6 is amazing. People aren't realizing how good we are in big games. Can't lie, if you man get Wirtz's problem still. I would love Wirtz, but I can't see it happening. And just because I can't see it happening, don't mean I don't want it, but I can't see it happening. He's going to have the pick of the clubs. I mean, if Arteta is able to chat him up and entice him, fair enough. And it's like what Inner Circle's saying here, man. I love the record against the top 6. But if I'm being harsh, you should be up for the games against the top 6. It's the other games that have been the banana skins. You know, again, you could add the caveat that had we have won one more game last season, City might have won one more game last season. But if it was as white and black as this, you know, I'm being very harsh and I don't really mean to include this. But you look at Liverpool at Anfield where we took the lead. You look at, and I definitely mean these games, you look at Spurs at the Emirates last season. You look at Chelsea away. It took us an hour to look like a decent football team at Stamford Bridge. Imagine if we started how we need to start. I'm not sure. The 2 games against Villa, Newcastle away, the 2 against Fulham, definitely Fulham away because that was our worst performance. The most frustrating game, I would say for me, without a doubt, has to be West Ham at the Emirates where we felt like we created a million chances. Had we have got 3 points, where would we have been? So it's these kind of games, man. And it kind of sums up how we're so close, but so far. And obviously, I don't want to hear anyone injured, but you've heard Rodri's now out for the year. You know, Rodri's out for the year. Question marks over Kevin De Bruyne. You know, Pep might be leaving, so that could be a gift or a curse. I'm sure that I don't know when the Club World Cup is, but that's something for City. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, but we know at some point next season, whether it's anything from January, February, March, City just go up a gear and they don't lose any games where the league's concerned. The Emirates will be waiting for City without a doubt, man. Calling it now, we're getting Mudryk next season. I'm prepared for the heat. I'm not going to lie. I can see a reality because we keep buying Chelsea players. Arteta tried to get him, could quote-unquote be available for a discount. No clue on the length of his contract, which is probably something absurd, and the wages. But yeah, man. Havertz during the international break has to talk to Wirtz for us. It's true, and I'm not saying Wirtz wouldn't listen. You hope Xhaka could pick up Terry Lusku. You hope Xhaka could be doing us a favor with Leverkusen at this moment in time. You know, Xabi Alonso is Mikel Arteta's boy. Depending on where Xavi Alonso goes after this Leipzig thing, he could put a word in. But if you're Wirtz, I'm sure you watch Toni Kroos at Real Madrid. And if Real Madrid definitely want you, Real Madrid, in my opinion, is a team you don't turn down if they genuinely want you. You got Madrid. If Pep decides to stay for another year, or even just what City have been, City, the man's German, Bayern Munich, it needs no introduction. The thought of playing with Musiala and all of them. And to be honest with you, if you're Bayern Munich, I know they've obviously got great players, but it feels like where those kind of players are concerned, they quote unquote keep missing out on them. So if you've got City, what City have done, Real Madrid, what they've done, Bayern, what they've done, all got more of a chance, unfortunately, of winning the Champions League than my club. How far is Arsenal going to be up there? That's before you talk about the money, how we're going to get the money and what happens. But if it's just off the player, who wouldn't want Florian Wirtz? The man's a baller, man, an absolute baller. I want Isaac Gyökeres. That'd be amazing. 2 words for this week in Nwaneri brace. Boy, big up Ethan, man. 2 goals, but definitely not the last. Now, if we start to get into some of the headlines, people, apparently Mikel Moreno's returned to light training ahead of the visit of Leicester in Saturday's Premier League clash at the Emirates. We all know he was withdrawn from his first training session with us at the end of August after picking up a shoulder injury. Mikel Arteta said tomorrow is too soon. The next week we'll see. So is PSG too soon? Hope not. He had partial training today, which is good. He's been working so hard and is looking good. It's just about the healing of that bone and how mature that is to expose him to contact. We're trying to keep him in the cage because he's been pushing everybody, the physios, doctors, everybody, and he's ready to go. He really wants it. I think we are comfortable now to start exposing him to contact. He looks really good in training. So that tells, I don't know about PSG, but that tells me you're right now, you know. That tells me you're okay. It's just, we're not going to get excited. We're not going to risk it against Leicester. So far, so good. Next week, your Arsenal career really begins. Apparently, we'll make a late call on David Raya. We have to wait 24 hours to see if he's looking good or not. Is that legit? Or are we playing mind games? So Leicester don't know who's in goal. Raya, boy, you know what? It's our fault. I never would have thought Raya would have been injured. We've been calling this keeper into action too many times this season. Raya need to get fit. Big up young Jack Porter. Don't expect to see you start against Leicester. I wouldn't begrudge it, but you'd imagine Neto would make his debut then. It's not about taking a risk. It's about the player being fit and available or not. When we have the clarity for Leicester, which is the main aim that we're thinking about at this moment, we'll make a decision tomorrow. On Neto, he said he's played in various countries at the highest level in different roles and has always fulfilled it in the right way. I believe he was the right player to bring in because he was in the Premier League, had experience, and he's someone who can be thrown in at any moment, which I don't doubt. But let's be honest, we didn't get our first choice goalkeeping targets. On Timber, Benjamin White, he said Duran is able to take part in training today, so that's good news. He'll be available in the squad, and Ben hopefully as well. Now, I don't want to read too much in it, but he said he will where Timber's concerned. Ben hopefully as well. So is that a clue that Benjamin's going to be on the bench? I don't know. On Tomiyasu, boy, Tomiyasu, you know, completely forgot about him. He had partial training today and he looked good. He's progressing really well and he is a little bit behind Mikel, but we don't know with Tommy because he's another one that pushes every single day. He's in a good place now, I think. I'm not gonna hold my breath for Tomiyasu. I love the guy, but I'm not gonna hold my breath for him. Should we see what Mikel Arteta has said ahead of the game, people? We've gone over that. Obviously, we need to tread carefully with PSG on the horizon. We've gone over Mikel Moreno. On Pep Guardiola, I love him, I respect him, and I admire him, his team, and everything he does. This is sport. One thing is our profession, and the other is our professional relationship. If my relationship has to be damaged because we play each other and one draws or the one wins or the amount of times that we have lost, then I wouldn't talk to him anymore. So that's not our relationship, especially the relationship that I consider that both of us have. Sport will never get in the way of my personal relationship. So yeah. And if it's harder to maintain that when games are fiery, I'm not going to read that because, come on now. I'm sure they want to kill each other when the game's been playing. Have a beer after. It's all great, man. It is what it is. If it's harder because he was previously with City, I'm not going to read that again because you saw what Kevin De Bruyne did a few years ago against him. You saw how they tried to go for our set piece coach. Fair enough. And to be fair with you, Carl Walker, you know, it was your fault Gabriel scored. I understand why even a few years ago you tried to get our set piece gaffer. On how we performed with Odegaard, if you put me in this scenario before I started this season with the calendar that we're given, the fixtures that we had, the 3 away games that we had, the amount of injuries that we had to deal with, and how we got out of that, I'd be very, very pleased. It's not just Martin. Obviously, he's one of our best players and a player that has more impact on the team in many ways, but there are many others as well, and the team has coped extremely well because we have an excellent group. A lot of players have taken a different role in leadership in their importance in the team, and they embrace the challenge. I'm really happy with it. On whether he'll be happy to have a little bit more of the ball against Leicester. We play with the ball every game. No, we'll do the same. Hopefully, we'll get a lot more momentum. On the discussions around the tactics at the Etihad, I did what I believed was the right thing to do to be as competitive as possible and win the game. He's obviously not going to speak about Roy Keane or Graham Souness. We've gone over Neto, but he said we had to react very quickly with the departure of Aaron. We had him on our list for a few years already. Fair enough. On the key to getting our team more organised, it's the players mentally. Basically, how willing you are to do certain things when you're out of possession and how do you feel about them. We know that as well. We know that Saliba and Gabriel have great chemistry. We know Leicester are a great team with a good manager. We know the depth is being tested. We know the young players will have to manage expectations. We've gone over Moreno. He said he's intelligent and has got an unbelievable footballing brain. He's physical as well. And then he said he's very smart in the opponent's box. Obviously, we're having to cope without Martin Odegaard, so we don't need to read that. Tommy asked if you're not going to get fit. I don't know what's going on. On if there's an agenda against us. Heard a lot of positive things as well. Is the criticism negative or positive criticism? Great. If we get negative criticism with where we are and what we've been through in the games, that tells you the expectation. So we have to raise the level. What is interesting, I just saw something about YouTube. I don't know, but it's honestly part of what we do. I don't want to be on YouTube because we've been silly. I want to be on YouTube because we've done the right thing in May for the right reasons and are lifting what we want to lift and achieve. In order to do that, we have to be very efficient with what we do. I didn't predict to play 56 minutes with 10 men. We have to do that and accept sometimes the opponent is better at doing something in a game. I think most football people, even those that are spreading agendas, can get. But anyways, that doesn't mean they're better, but they're playing better, doing a specific thing in the game. We are interested to do all the things that can help us to win the game. Fair play. These questions must jar the hell out of Mikel Arteta. I'm not mad at Trossard. It was unfortunate 0.8 seconds from the whistle to kicking the ball. He was not trying to stop a restart or being petulant, just a BS rule. I feel that, but on one hand, only Trossard will be able to tell you the truth. And I feel genuinely, big up Riley for subscribing with Amazon Prime as well. I think only Trossard will be able to tell you the truth. And honestly, I think Trossard knew what he's doing. I'm not mad at it. DG wonder why the Twitch notification said this was going to be an FM stream. Weird, but still either way, a DG stream is a guaranteed banger. We'll be there at 4:45. I don't know why it's saying that. I'm still mad at Trossard. He needs to hold bench. Ethan had to start. Big up, bro, in the nation. Shout yourself, KD. Timber and Cali got the minerals. I was worried they didn't have the dog in them. Calafiori is an Italian, bro. That man got that. And for Timber, you can see my man's tigerish. Didn't we see in North London when Vicario and all that tried to talk to him? He was on it, man. People let the fact that he's a Bible basher gas them. Like, they got the dog in them, man. Don't worry about them. They're good. Everyone's a demon in this Arsenal team in a positive way. Apparently, the notion in recent days from the Arsenal camp is that with 11 men, they would have beaten City at the Etihad. So prove it at the Emirates when the time comes. Allegedly, Jorginho is considering moving into a coaching role with the Gunners when his current deal expires in 2025. He has less than 12 months left on his deal. 32, you'd imagine you can still kick ball, but you basically coach for Arsenal already. We know you've begun your coaching badges. We know you kind of hold weight. So if you want to be part of the coaching stuff, why not, people? He's now considering his future at Arsenal, and he currently has 2 options on the table. Pardon me, he can either extend his playing career for at least 1 more year or join Mikel Arteta's coaching staff. Fair enough, Jorginho, man. We've gone over this already. I was so excited to see Mikel Arteta's press conference, isn't it? Definitely going on over that. We've announced a new multi-year partnership, so that could mean more money in the bank. Big up our young players. You know, we all know Jack Porter got some statistics and was a record breaker. Imagine that. You have a son called Maldini Kwakuri, and he's played at centre-half in a professional game. Crazy. Fair enough, man. Big up all the young players that have got their opportunities and whatever. Apparently, Arsenal have ramped up their interest in signing Bayern Leverkusen midfielder Florian Wirtz, according to reports in Germany. The 21-year-old has established himself as one of the best players in the Bundesliga, having played a key role in Leverkusen's league and cup double success last season. He's been linked with several top clubs at the start of the summer, but opted to remain with Leverkusen for their return to the Champions League this season. And I'm happy that, you know, he's really bounced back from a massive injury he had a few years ago. According to Blind, Wirtz is expected to leave Leverkusen next summer. which, you know, would be interesting, with both Real Madrid and Man City pushing hard to sign the German international. However, the German newspaper now reports that Arsenal are serious contenders after PSG withdrew from the race and claims Mikel Arteta's side are fully committed to the move. Fair enough. Leverkusen are said to be holding out for 150 million, in brackets 124.8 million pounds fee for Wirtz. However, clubs are hopeful that a deal can be struck closer to 100 million euros, which is 83.2. Fair enough, people. Apparently, their sporting director said that they want to keep him. I was mistaken in saying that Wirtz's price is around 150 million. In reality, he's priceless. Florian is not available for transfer. He scored 6 goals in 5 games so far, people, for Leverkusen. And again, apparently we want the lad, people. 18 goals and 20 assists in all comps last year. He obviously did well at the Euros. Bring him. According to transfer guru Christian Vlok, Arsenal want to sign Wirtz, who reportedly wants to leave Leverkusen next summer. I mean, boy, if there's a small part of hope that you can get that done, why not? And he could play off the left. He could play in midfield. He'd be a dream, mate. He'd be a dream. It's as simple as that. But there's a lot of big boy clubs that are interested in him, people. As you can see, City, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich are all credited. We were linked with Anthony Gordon, people. Apparently, Anthony Gordon is said to be finalising terms on a new contract with Newcastle, which could be a blow to Arsenal and Liverpool. You hear that they're trying to get Isaac to sign a new deal as well, people. Don't appear that there's anything there. Chelsea are still in contacts with John Duran. Apparently, us, Chelsea, Barcelona, the latest teams linked. You go back to the summer, the sporting director of Aston Villa said 40 teams inquired. We know we've all been linked with Vlahovic. I don't really want to go through this, people, but apparently they're willing to sell him for at least 70 million. He's contracted until 2026, so the next 12 months is very vital, people. Real Madrid are still on to Saliba. Forget about that. Look, this is despite the fact that Real Madrid would be willing to offer a player to sweeten the deal, and Rodrigo has been suggested. I mean, money plus Rodrigo for Saliba. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, you gotta think about it, but come on now, it's nonsense. I wouldn't do it anyways. You might, like, if you're offering him in a swap deal, that means you mean Rodrigo's available for sale. So just tell us the price. Creative journalism settings. Arsenal United plot 2025 move for exciting winger, hoping to follow in the steps of Yaya Toure. Arsenal and Man United are reportedly keeping tabs on Hammaraby young player Bazoumana Toure, along with a host of top clubs across Europe. Fair enough, people. I mean, we've got a strong Ivorian/African history at this club with some players. So if this 18-year-old's great, bring him. According to the Swedish publication, Arsenal and United are scouting the teenager and will have a rep to watch him on Thursday evening. That's already happened. Leverkusen, Munich, Benfica, Celtic, Palace, and Frankfurt have all been credited with interest, people. So I'm not sure what you want to read there. That was more from my reading. Locatelli apparently insists he has no regrets over rejecting a move to Arsenal in 2021. Everything works out for the best. Arsenal are not looking to sell Tomiyasu, sources have told Football Insider. I mean, he's been linked with Juventus and Inter. Apparently, Arteta believes the 25-year-old has a future at the Emirates Stadium and isn't interested in weakening his squad. It would take a huge offer for the Gunners to sell him. The only reason I would sell Tomiyasu is the injuries. Quality player to have in the squad, but myth, man. And I definitely wouldn't sell you in January unless it's something amazing. Arsenal and Chelsea are keeping tabs on Germany attacker Max. You know, I can't say his last name. The 18-year-old of Hoffenheim. I did a video on him, I'm sure, so check that out. So yeah, it's silly season though, man. It's easy to link us with players. Like, it's easy to link anyone with players. And to be fair, I know deals can be kind of drawn up for January/the summer, but talking about transfers at this moment in time is absolutely irrelevant. Like, 6-man shortlist of strikers, like, it's all irrelevant. Who are the 6 men? We know the Osman thing is dead. We're now being linked with Vlahovic, Marcus Thuram, Benjamin Sesko, Jonathan David. I mean, if Arteta wants all of these, fair enough, people. But of the names you see here, I'll have Vlahovic, I'll have Sesko, I'll have Gyökeres, Jonathan David, safe. Thuram, I think you're a good player. I'm not moved, though. I'm not moved. I don't think you're the guy like that for us, if I'm honest. And don't care what you did in Italy. So that seems to be all that kind of transfer news. As long as we have Kai, Arteta almost certainly won't buy a striker who benches him. 20-year-old Sesko was a target because he would hold bench no problems. And probably be, do you know what? For argument's sake, if you could get a rotationary striker like a Giroud ilk that could score some goals, I wouldn't be against it. But at the same time, it's a very dangerous territory. Take nothing away from what Kai has done. Very dangerous territory if we're not going to buy a striker purely because Kai Havertz plays there. Thuram and David. I'd rather Thuram over David, man. David's stock has fallen, but I'm fickle. If he starts putting in work and looks decent, then, you know, the rhetoric around him will change in my eyes very quickly, people. So, yeah, that's just how I'm looking at it, if I'm honest with you. With that being said, though, people, don't forget 4:45, apologies, I'll be live on Twitch again. I'm waiting on a thumbnail because I've done the QA show, so that will be out, Q&A show. Big up to you lot for the video I put out yesterday where I was talking about the rhetoric around Arsenal and City. Seems like you look like the thumbnail. Obviously, on Saturday, tomorrow, we'll be watching Arsenal Leicester. Sunday, we'll be watching Manchester United Spurs. So, yeah, the video I'm referring to is there. So, yeah, make sure you're following on my second channel as well, because I think I did a video about Haaland there, and there's also a video about Gabriel Jesus. So, yeah, man, make sure you're doing all of that. This is all nice, but I hope buying him won't hinder our chances of getting a proper attacker / striker, the likes of Gyökeres. Thing is, a big name striker who benches Kai makes him worthless like Ramsdale. I mean, Kai could still be used in rotation, and I hear that, but like, evidently, we need to improve the squad, and that is by a couple of midfield additions, a striker, maybe a wide man. You know, I know it's very different, but if we get into a scenario where there is a winger that's twice the ability of Bukayo Saka, and they're affordable, and they want to sign for Arsenal, as much as I love Saka and whatnot, we'd be idiots if we wouldn't do that. So I think I don't think City do that. I don't think Real Madrid do that. I don't think Bayern Munich have that. Obviously, we're not them, but we want to be in that. So let's move like them. Obviously, it doesn't mean doing what Chelsea do and having 1 million players in the squad. And I don't think it's necessary. I don't think Mikel Arteta's approach is necessarily wrong, but I think it'd be dangerous, man. But yeah, with that being said, though, I'll catch you lot later. Hope you lot enjoy your weekend and hope to see you lot, man. Check out the rest of the other content. Hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. Peace. Always